What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're reviewing WWE Night of Champions 2026. We opened up the show with Jey Uso versus Obafemi for the King of the Ring in the King of the Ring finals. And honestly, it was okay. It was less than 10 minutes. Jey and Oba, it was either Oba squashed Jey in the first half, and then Jey squashed Oba in the second half. So Oba was doing like crazy moves, and then Jey, it was actually not even second half. Jey was just taking him out. He did a dive, super kicks, Uso splash, spear because he had injured ribs, they were saying. And he just kept hitting his greatest hits. He had Oba in a sleeper. He eventually got Oba in the sleeper in the middle of the ring. They mentioned WrestleMania 41. They said this is how Jey won the World Heavyweight title. And then Oba, his eyes pop open. He's woken up. But technically he tapped. I'm just saying, because when he was like awoken, he went. So that's 3 taps. Normally that's a submission. And it wasn't like a pause too. It was so like he tapped, but whatever. He got Jey up. Jey tried to use some offense. He hit a super kick on Oba. He went for, I guess, a spear because he was running to the corner. Oba ran after him, took him out, threw him across the ring, hit a fall from grace, and became your King of the Ring. And then he cut a promo afterwards saying that it was fate, it was destiny, and Jey Uso, it's his destiny that he can't beat Obafemi. And it seems like Oba is going to pick Roman, which is kind of obvious, but it looks like he's going to pick Roman. And now let's move on to the Queen of the Ring finals. That's right, the next match was the Queen of the Ring finals between Liv Morgan and Io Sky. But before that, we had Danhausen come out. He was cutting a promo. He was kind of like hyping up the crowd. And then Liv Morgan's music hits. She comes out. She says, Danhausen, you owe the Judgment Day money. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, what money? And which, if you don't know, Danhausen got paid by the Judgment Day to curse Obafemi, and he did not, but he took the money and spent it. Liv Morgan then slapped Danhausen, and Danhausen said, Liv Morgan, you are cursed. And then Liv Morgan walked to the ring, and they waited for Io Sky to come out. She came out. Now, the match was definitely overlooked by the ending and the Danhausen segment, but there were some pretty cool moments in there. They started off with a grapple, like a show of strength type of deal, which I thought was cool. You have the technical, they were showing the technical style of Liv Morgan, and then the high-flying style that we all know from Io Sky, which she definitely showcased. She used kids. They were helping her get on the barricade so she could jump onto Liv Morgan. That was a little awkward though, because Liv just, it took a while, so Liv was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm down. But at the same time, she wasn't just standing there and waiting. Like, she didn't just stand up and then act like she, so it was definitely better than other people that we've seen. But yeah, she just completely took her out, which was cool. There was a lot of high-flying moves, like I said. There was the drop kick that Io does where she bounces off the top and hits it. Liv Morgan and Io recreated the spot that Liv got injured with, that she's on her knees and she gets kicked in the face, or kneed in the face. And they also recreated a spot. Liv Morgan had Io Sky in the Boston Crab and then the half crab that she used to defeat Charlotte Flair and move on to the finals. And she had him in for a pretty long time. Io Sky was like crawling. She was stopping. She was like trying to beat her up. She was trying to find any way to get out of it. But there were, for one of the times she had the submission in, she kind of rolled her up and then stomped on her, which I thought was pretty cool. But to end the match, Liv Morgan was on the top rope. Io Sky hit a Spanish fly, stepped on her, hit a over the moonsault, and became your queen of the ring winner. And she wasted no time and immediately said, Liv Morgan, I'm going to fight you at SummerSlam. So the SummerSlam match is a rematch of Night of Champions, but this time it will be for the Women's World title. It is Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. Jumping to the first match that was only on the ESPN app. So I guess you could say the main card, depending on how you look at it, but it's all the main card. It's all one thing. It was Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker in a steel cage. And when Seth Rollins came out, he grabbed steel chairs, kendo sticks, 2 tables. Like, he was ready for a fight. And when Braun Breaker came out, he grabbed a trash can, 3 chairs, and 2 kendo sticks. They never used the trash can. They didn't. They barely even touched the trash can. So I was a little disappointed. I wanted to see the trash can get used. But they were both sitting on the chairs, yelling at each other, waiting for the ref to ring the bell. And as soon as the ref rang the bell, they were going at it, punching each other. They were ready. Like, this was not a wrestling match. This was a brawl. This was a fight. They were just going at it. And then they started grabbing weapons. They definitely used the chairs a lot. Seth Rollins kept whacking Braun Breaker with a kendo stick. The kendo stick completely broke. And then they never touched the kendo sticks again. It was mainly steel chairs. Braun Breaker hit Frankenstein. Oh, and tables. Braun Breaker hit a Frankensteiner to Seth Rollins onto 3 chairs. Seth Rollins hit a Falcon Arrow on Braun Breaker through the table. Seth Rollins had the table. He was right here. He was standing right there. Braun Breaker was ready to hit him with a spear. He moved. Braun speared the table. Then eventually Braun was about to give up. He was about to just go through the top of over the top of the cage. That didn't work out as Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker started brawling on the top of the cage. And then a little later into the match, Braun Breaker was trying to escape through the door, and Rollins grabbed his foot, and Braun Breaker kicked him. Then he grabbed him again. He got out of it again. He was so close to crawling out the door, and then Seth Rollins grabbed him, had him in a sleeper, and then Braun Breaker kept trying to grab the cage door. He was freaking out. He was going, he finally grabbed it. He barely brought it to him because both of them had their heads through this. He, barely grabbed it and then, barely whacked Rollins with it. And then Rollins was like, acting like he grabbed it and threw it against them. So that was kind of sad. That was tough to watch. Oh, that was bad. But in the end, Braun Breaker got hit with a pedigree. And then he reversed. I do want to talk about this. I forgot about this. Braun Breaker reversed the stomp into a spear, which I thought was really cool. But Rollins hit a pedigree. Braun Breaker kicked out. He started getting fired up because he got hit with, he was down when he got hit with the pedigree. He was completely just down, and he was getting all fired up. And the second he got to right here, yes, his eye was bleeding as well. But as soon as he got right here, he kind of put his head back down. Rollins hit him with a super stomp, or avalanche stomp, whatever they want to call it. And then the match just ended. It was such a good match, and then it just ended so fast when it seemed like it was going to pick up again. and like lead to the end. It was literally just the end, and that's how the match ended. So Seth Rollins won, and it looked like he is done with the Vision, at least for now. He's probably gonna be back with the Vision, in the Vision problems near Survivor Series. Jumping into the next match, it was Trick Williams versus Ricky Saints for the United States Championship. I almost said NXT Championship. I don't know why. And before the match even began, Ricky Saints was unloading on Trick Williams. Trick Williams didn't even get his jacket off. The referee was holding up the belt, and Ricky Saints was just going at it with Trick Williams. The bell rang, and he was like, I want to get this guy down, and he did. In the corner, he had him down, and almost immediately into the beginning of the match, Ricky Saints went outside. He grabbed Little Yachty's kendo stick, whacked it on the steel steps, tossed it to him, pulled an Eddie Guerrero. He fell to the floor. The referee turns around, sees it, kicked Little Yachty out of the ring, or out of the ringside, so he could not be there for the match, and it was regular 1-on-1, and Ricky Saints showed his offense, or showed his ability. He had so much going into this match. He hit so many moves. He hit his finisher, DDT. He hit the little old school with his little bounce off the ropes and taunt, and then whacked him. Like, he was just doing him. Like, this match, he might not have spoiler, he didn't win, but he showed a lot of talent, and I think they're going to start using him on the PLEs more, especially because of what happened after the match. So the only time Trick Williams really hit a move is to hit a random finisher like the bookend, and Michael Cole mentioned how Muhammad Ali and Booker T were the inspirations for Trick Williams, and then they were just, like, he didn't really have much offense. It was mainly Ricky Saints having his offense in this match. He showed what he's capable of, and then he bounced off the ropes, bounced off the other ropes, but Trick Williams bounced off this rope, ran towards him, hit the trick shot, and retained the title. And then Ricky Saints, after the match, Ricky Saints was about to attack Trick Williams. He was so close. He was staring him down, but Lil Yachty came back. He had his kendo stick, and before Trick could turn around, Lil Yachty whacked him. Trick Williams was watching it. Lil Yachty was beating down Ricky Saints, and then he threw the kendo stick to Trick Williams. Trick Williams missed the kendo stick, and then he just threw it out of the ring anyways. And he told Little Yachty to hit the People's Elbow, which he did, and Corey Graves called it the People's Elbow. And that was the end. So it seems like they're going to continue this feud. Maybe Night of Champions in July, we'll have Ricky Saints versus Trick Williams again. Maybe Carmelo Hayes can be involved, hopefully. Yeah, we'll see. Now let's move on to the next match. Jumping to the next match, it was Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the Women's United States title. It was definitely overlooked for the ending. This match is definitely overlooked. It was really good, but the ending is what made this match interesting. But no, in the match, I'll fix it later. In this match, you had Tiffany Stratton going right at, like, the second bell ring, she ran after Jade Cargill, started beating her up. She was tired of Jade Cargill's nonsense, and Jade Cargill actually hit some pretty cool moves and was able to navigate and work well with Tiffany Stratton. She ran to this corner. Tiffany Stratton was able to jump over her and hit like a sunset flip, which was really, when Tiffany got onto her, it was a little messed up, but the transition was really cool. I'll admit that. Jade Cargill had some really cool, she had black hole slams, choke slams, She caught Tiffany Stratton's dive to the outside. I mean, they were just, like, they were having such a interesting match. Jade Cargill even reversed the prettiest moonsault, and it was clean too. Like, when she got the knees up, it was right after she jumped, but it was like perfect timing. Whereas, like, you at home don't even realize she has her knees up, or in the audience too. Like, you don't realize, oh my god, she has the knees up. It was like perfect timing. It was awesome. It was incredible. And the ending, it's what made this whole match overlooked, because Tiffany Stratton was on the top, ready to hit Jade Cargill with, I guess, a splash. And then B-Fab comes running over, distracting the referee. Michin comes out, pushes Tiffany Stratton down. Jade Cargill takes her out. And then Chelsea Green, who was under the ring, came out, took out Michin, took out B-Fab. Chelsea Green even threw Michin into the championship display. And then Charlotte Flair, as the title was right here, Jade Cargill went to grab it. Charlotte Flair came out, grabbed the belt, whacked Jade Cargill with it, as Tiffany Stratton hit a prettiest moonsault, and the match is over. She retained. She was celebrating with Chelsea Green, and I like the ending. The ending was honestly the best part of the match. The match was good. Jade Cargill getting much better, but the ending was it just made the match. Jumping to the main event, it was Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the WWE Championship. And there were a lot of power bombs, a lot of reversals of finishers, and a lot of finishers. The second the bell rang, Gunther ran after Sami Zayn, knocked him out. Sami rolled outside, and he was outside for a while. Not that long, but a little while. And then it was Gunther, Cody. They were going at it. The second Sami Zayn comes back in the ring, he starts going after Gunther. He starts wailing in on him. He starts taking him out. And then, I know this fell again. But Sami Zayn kept wailing it in on Gunther. Gunther finally left. It was down to Sami and Cody, and they just kept going at it. They told more story than actually doing the wrestling moves. And then Gunther would come in and he would take him out. My favorite reversals were Sami reversed the crossroads perfectly into another crossroad, into, like, he had Cody in the crossroads position. Gunther went to power bomb Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn hit like a sunset flip. Those were my two favorite reversals. Gunther was reversing some moves too, like a haluva kick into a nasty chop by Sami Zayn, or to Sami Zayn. And then Cody Rhodes cleared the Arabic announce team, cleared the English commentator table, and then they were on one table. Cody and Sami were on one table, and Sami kind of like ran after him, and Cody threw him, and he went crashing through the other table. That was really cool to see. And then I believe they used some steps too. They kind of, not really. It was like just the outside. They didn't do much with that. Yeah, they just kept railing it in, and just, it was more of a fight, not a wrestling match, just a fight. They were telling their story. They were showing that they were trying to prove themselves and trying to get the title. Sami even had Gunther in the sleeper. Cody eventually kicked Gunther, and that broke up the sleeper. But that was still cool to see. A lot of ref pulls too. Sammy pulled the ref when Cody was pinning Gunther, and then when Sammy looked like he was about to do it, Cody grabbed the referee, and they were yelling at each other. But to end the match, Cody hit a double crossroads on Gunther and Sami Zayn. Hit him, like literally hit both of them in the crossroads. Gunther rolled out, and then Cody lifted up Sami for a crossroads, and he reversed it into a pin. 1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn is your new WWE champion. That is going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.